Good afternoon, Jamie. How's it going?
Good, Hazy. What about you?
Good. Not too bad. Trying to keep out of trouble up here in Auckland, but doing our best. Anywho, you've had a pretty busy last couple of days. You've just been down to see the South Island horses down in Christchurch. How's the trip? You just arrived back.
Yeah, trip was good. We didn't have a lot of luck down there last weekend, but our horses are on the improve, and I can see a winner or two there in the next couple of weeks. So we've got a nice team for Riccarton next Saturday, the 2nd, and then we'll have a nice team for Timaru the following Friday. So Sam Burgesson and Lydia Truesdale are down there with the horses, and a good team of staff and doing a good job. So everything's going according to plan. Horses look well.
Great, and you kind of talk about the lows and highs of racing, and that's kind of just been the case this week with obviously Avantage disappointingly being injured on Friday and then turning that around on Monday with an amazing sale result. Can you talk us through, I guess, what this mare's meant to you throughout her career, some of your favourite races, and obviously any thoughts you've got about where she's going in her future home at stud?
Yeah, so Avantage is a pretty special horse. Very rare commodity to have a horse that can win Group 1s at 1,200, 1,400 a mile and 2,000, and to do it from a 2-year-old right through until she was a 5-year-old and into a 6-year-old season. So we've been very fortunate to have her. Dave obviously bought her at Karaka, 210,000 by one of our favourite stallions in Fastnet Rock, and out of a Zabeel mare, who was a good race mare. So she ticked a few boxes from the start. I think if I was to pick, probably one of my favourite wins was probably the Karaka Million. I think her first one. That was pretty exciting, and we were just starting to get a bit of a roll on then with the 2-year-olds, and she has been a massive contributor to the success of the brand and the stable and the syndication side of it. So she's been fantastic, and as you sort of said there, unfortunately was found on Friday afternoon with a bit of filling in her leg, and just had a little sort of hole in her tendon there. So we immediately, made the decision to sell her, and Dave got her up on Gabble House Quick Smart, and made a record 4.1 million. So
pretty incredible stuff, and what a thrill for her breeders, Willie and Karen Calder down south there, and obviously the Coolmore team buying her back to send her back to obviously Australia or Ireland. Are there any plans there with her?
Yeah, so she's going back to Coolmore on end of this week, early next week, I think. There's a sort of a few. Coolmore have got such a great selling lineup, but I don't think they've sort of set it in stone who she's going to go to. Whether that may be in Australia or whether it may be up north.
Where would you send her, Jamie? If you got the choice.
There's a bit of gossip that she might be going, or a few words said that she might be going to Wooden Bassett, and obviously he's made a fantastic start to his career and looks to be one of the emerging young sires of the world, not only Southern Hemisphere but also Northern Hemisphere. And I guess if it was probably 5 or 6 years ago and Galileo was still alive, then she probably would have gone up and gone to him, much like Atlantic Jewel has, and some of those other Fastnet Rock mares that Coolmore bought. But look, I'm not really an expert in the breeding, just hopefully like to train fast horses.
No, good as gold. Right, so our attention, I guess, turns to both New Zealand and Australia this weekend. There's a bit of rain about, which might prevent a couple of horses from going around. Can you talk us through that quickly before we jump into them?
Yeah, so we've got Martin tomorrow. We had Festivity in there, come up a heavy 11, heavy 10. So we pulled her out. She'll wait. She'll go to Hastings on Friday, open 1,200. And at Matamata, we've got 3 in. She's a Thinker and Wishing Well both wait. We had 60 mils of rain here on Thursday morning when we were trying to do our track work and get through jump outs. So we all got absolutely saturated, and the track will stay as a 11 or a 10. So She's a Thinker will come out. Wishing Well will come out. Cornflower Blue is still in. But looks a very doubtful starter. I just need to speak to Mark Chittick about that. But there's plenty of options for her in the next week or 10 days.
Cool. And just rounding New Zealand off quickly, Tauranga on Sunday, you had Medal lined up and also Charmaine's Dream. Are they both likely, or are we just waiting to see what the weather does over the weekend?
But both unlikely, I would say. We're due, well, yeah, the weather looks all right today and again tomorrow, but we're due more rain on Sunday, so we'll play it by ear. But I'd say both very unlikely status.
Rightio. Well, let's roll our sleeves up and cross the Tasman. Obviously, your dad Paul's over there at the moment doing a great job with the horses, alongside Ashley as well. We'll start at Rosehill with obviously the 2-year-old, possibly the 2-year-old of the year, and sort of state lining up in the Heritage Stakes over 1,100 metres with Kieran McAvoy on board.
Yeah, really, really happy with him. We sort of taken a little while to get him going, I guess, but we just had a bit of a bad blood and just left a little bit of waste feed, sort of leading into that last sort of run where we were going to run him. So we waited. That was the run to the Rose. We gave him a little bit of time off and brought him back, and he was supposed to trial. He missed a trial because of COVID restrictions, but he's had a couple of decent hitouts. Seems to be in good shape. He's got a bit of a tricky draw. He'll probably roll forward a bit from there. He's got a big weight, so he's got a few things that are against him there tomorrow. Got a lot of respect for Paul Alley, or however you want to say it. They're talking Everest with him. So yeah, it's not an easy race to kick off in, but we sort of need to get him going if we're going to be any chance to get to the Coolmore. So he's going to get track conditions that should suit him. I'm predicting that he'll run well, but whether a couple of these might just be a little bit sharp with that, kicking the weight. So I'm not sure.
Right, and it'll be his first run in the new colours as well.
Yeah, so obviously Cambridge Stud bought a sort of will increase their share in him after his 2-year-old campaign, which was obviously a great success. So yeah, we're trying to build a stallions profile for him, and then at some stage he'll be retired to Cambridge Stud to join their roster.
Perfect. Will he likely go forward from the draw, or you'll just wait and see what happens?
That sort of seems to be his pattern. I'm picking there's going to be a lot of speed in the race. That there usually is. But yeah, we'll just be guided by how he jumps and how he gets away. But certainly the plan is to try and ride him forward a bit.
Perfect. And who knows, you might have a few Everest invitations knocking on the door come Monday morning. We'll wait and see. Moving down to race 7, the Golden Pendant, a Group 2 race over 1,400 metres. We've got the impressive last start winner on Trivier lining up, and James McDonald retains the mount with 56 kilos.
Yeah, she gets into the race well off the back of that good win at Kembla there in the Scirocco Stakes. Seems to have done well since. First time we've turned around in a shorter time frame of 2 weeks. We usually space her runs a little bit just because she's been a bit immature and hasn't carried a lot of condition. But this week we sort of thought this was the best way to get her to the invitation. So she'll run here from a bit of an awkward gate. There's 3 scratchings already, so she's going to jump from 9 of 9 at this stage. But we're sort of hoping for a genuine tempo, and we'll try and ride her much the same as we did at Kembla, try and slot her in midfield and get a bit of cover. And then she's got that, really good turn of foot. So really looking forward to seeing her race over there again tomorrow.
Absolutely. And then moving down to Sandown. Obviously this meeting is normal. Is it normally held at Flemington, the Underwood Stakes meeting?
There was a bit of a reshuffle in the autumn for the spring about trying to make this a racing and sort of AFL weekend or something like that. So this is the first time. Yeah, I think this is the first time that Sandown have had a Group 1 in quite some time, but obviously it is a lovely track.
The Zipping Classic comes to mind as one race I think they might have there.
Yes, I think so too.
There you go. Trump me. Cool. So obviously you've got Probabeel lining up in the Underwood Stakes, moves away from a handicap path back to try to get on that Wait for Age trail. Do you want to talk us through her chances? Obviously she lines up against a very competitive Zaki.
Yeah, she's in good shape, and as you alluded to there, she ran well last week in the Sir Rupert Clark, carrying a fair bit of weight. And the sort of the form experts are saying if it was run at weight for age, then she would have, you know, been awfully hard to beat off the way that she ran there. So we got held up a little bit early in our campaign, and hence why we ended up on that sort of handicap route. But we wanted to get away from that. We thought this was the best way to do that: back her up, step her up to 1800, find out how we're going against a horse like Zaki, whether we are a real contender for the Cox Plate, or whether we need to look at dropping back to something like the Empire Rose that's restricted to fillies and mares. But she's going to be the interesting runner there tomorrow in a pretty small sort of race. But I don't think we could have her any better. Ash has been really happy with how she's done during the week, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing how she's going to measure up tomorrow. Small but select field, and no doubt will be quite tactical.
Yes, and I saw one of the bookmakers has already paid out on Zaki and the Cox Plate as of this morning as well. So there you go. So hopefully she puts her best foot forward and proves a few people wrong, and puts herself into that Cox Plate frame. So I guess that's our runners for the weekend. We're back again next week with a pretty full card at the Hawke's Bay and down in Riccarton. So we'll look forward to catching up with you again next week, Jamie. And good luck with all the team tomorrow.
Thank you.